And your dad ended up with twin sons. That's Ralph. He was a Ralph was my brother, or my son, or my brother Ralph had twin sons.
So the son Frank had twin sons, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but they didn't have any kids as far as I know. They died young. Somebody had an accident the day they were born, and one of them didn't live through it, and the next one. The other
Rex and something.
Rex and what was it?
They're up there at Roanoke with
Yeah.
Perry and Seedy.
Yeah, they're buried up there. But then, you know, Frank and his boys, there's Ralph Dunn and his two boys.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, there's no more twins, are there?
In your family, there's no more.
You got any twins?
None of my brothers or sisters have had twins that I can think of.
Yeah.
Because I forget things weird.
You got that one?
Now I have a niece who's pregnant currently. You know, Janine has 2 kids already.
Oh, that's
She's pregnant with another girl.
Oh, is she?
Okay, yep. She's due to deliver in December
Oh.
after Christmas. So we might have the first baby of the year
Oh.
or the last.
Yeah.
They're hoping for the last because
Yeah.
it works for you get the entire year's tax deduction.
Yeah.
on my
Okay.
side of the family, I got these little great-grandchildren, you know. One of them is going to be born on my birthday next month.
Well, you don't know that.
Huh?
Is she gonna have a C-section?
C-section.
Okay.
She's going to have it on my birthday.
It's scheduled. It's scheduled, she says. All right.
Now,
She
would
had
you
the other 2 scheduled, so she's going to have one on my birthday.
you mind terribly if we just quickly go over the Dunn stuff again?
Yeah.
Because the audio, she was working on the newspaper and I wasn't getting it recorded. So
Yeah.
if you don't mind, we'll just briefly go over
Sure.
the sheet of paper there, and we'll.
So you want us?
Yeah, I just wanted to quick go over just the piece of paper here showing what was on the property, a
Okay.
little bit of history, and then we'll go on to the Dunn. I mean, even though she's speaking and kind of breaking it up, she's still got the story going, but it's just not all pieced together. So
We got-
however it comes to her memory is good, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We got Clinton Street, and we got,
Can you lay it down so she can see? Lay it down on the table.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think she's okay. I can.
And then this is,
I'll take a picture of it. From
what's that street that's,
Dahlgren?
no, down here is,
Spironic.
Spider
Spider
Extended,
yeah.
and that was the canal that fed through there.
Yeah, that was the Royal Missionary Canal. And then there's the river. This is the St. Joe River. Now, this is Dunwood. And that's named for your grandparents because they lived there for a while when they gave them the street name. So they named it Dunwood after them. And then there's Dahlgren, that's the next street. My dad had a filling station he bought here. And
Okay, that was the Texaco station, was it?
I don't know, I had nothing to do with that. That was after I left.
Okay.
So
Did Grandpa actually operate the station? Did he
I don't
run
think
it?
he ran
Did
it.
he work in it?
I don't think so. I don't
He had
know.
somebody. Okay.
See?
You weren't around it enough to know.
That was years ago, and I wasn't in town. I was in the service for 3 years, so you know.
Well, you know, in my mind, Grandpa was in the lumber business. The filling station, he bought one because of the property or because I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it was an investment. He built. Maybe did he have the station built?
No,
Was it?
just something he bought or got somehow. I don't know.
The station was there when he acquired the property.
I think it was.
Okay, that's history.
And I have no idea who owned these houses. They could have been some he built. They could have been some that were built long before he bought the land down here. I don't know. And I don't know when my grandfather. I don't know when he bought his house.
Now he built. You're talking about Dunwood, 521 Dunwood.
This is Dunwood.
The big mansion, the big Dunn mansion.
They bought this
Did they-
sometime before I was born.
They
Probably.
didn't build. Did they build it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I thought he
They
did.
probably did.
Well, the story I got is great grandfather built it.
Anyway, my great-great-grandfather lived there because he died there when he was
Right.
92 years
And
old.
that would be before you. So when were you born? It
No.
was built in they built it in 1913.
Yeah, I was born in 1919.
So you were built 4 years later. You probably wouldn't know how it was erected. then.
No.
And then there's a canal at the base, By the front
It's,
door.
just the land. That,
a little stretch of land, and then
it
there
was
was
just wee land for the
Yeah.
time I came along.
and then the canal, and then the tennis court,
And it had been there, and it was gone.
It was Uncle
and it
Liz.
was gone.
Yeah.
And
Now-
that was down by the canal,
It
headed
was
down that hill.
It was there. Now this house lived here. You could sit in the dining room. It had picture windows and they had little things under the
a
window.
little sledge that you could
little
sit on.
storage place.
A little
there,
storage
yeah.
place. Yep.
And you could look out and see the land, and just over beyond the driveway, it went clear around the house. The driveway did.
Right. Run a
And
circle.
just beyond the driveway, we dropped down to the other land. So that was, and they had a front door, a side door. So they had a front door over here.
Matching porches.
A side,
Yeah.
side door there. They had a kitchen door.
Right. And then and then the canal had a railroad track. A little,
No, the canal had nothing.
but
that
next to
was
the next to the
right.
canal was
So the
you-
trolley
was
cars.
the trolley cars.
Trolley cars were they were at least more than a drive across there.
They were on the same side as the river as
As the
our
house.
the house, right?
But they were
Closer to the river
closer to the river.
than to the house.
And it was kind of just a wasteland in there.
Well, that explains the cinder block that's down.
Well,
there,
that's
down
why
that
the
hill.
that's why
They
the
put
electric
cinder
poles
around
are where they are today.
Yeah.
Okay, because
down through there
that
was-
trolley line went out to Robeson Park
Yeah.
from downtown, and then the trolley company was selling power to people out in the country that didn't have electricity, and they discovered that it was more profitable and a bigger business to sell electricity than to do the trolley car thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that became the electric lines there along the river, was because they already had the trolley car line and the electricity for it. That they changed their business model from transportation to electricity.
Interesting.
Yeah. I've been dealing with Krager Smith in Fort Wayne, and he's a city employee in community development. Okay, he's involved with their historic stuff. Okay.
When you get out here by
He-
the
he's what told me
cemetery,
that.
there's a
That's where I got
this-
that.
what's that big building you got out there by the Johnny
Terrace
Appleseed?
house. Oh.
Oh, the Coliseum.
Coliseum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Coliseum.
it's it's out that way only it's more east or more west than the Johnny.
You got Johnny Appleseed down by the river.
He's
you got
on
the
a little,
Coliseum.
on a little hill here,
Yeah.
and then you go on north, and there's the Coliseum over here.
Okay. Now
Parnell.
was the canal active? Was that how? Did they have boats on the canal? Paddle
No,
boats?
it was just a.
It was inactive
just
by
a
then.
wee
They just
ground.
weeded it over and filled, which is the way it sits
It was
today.
it was a feeder canal which
Yeah.
brought water to the Wabash
Oh,
River
okay, it
Canal.
helped. Okay.
Yep.
It wasn't actually. An
It wasn't
active
the actual canal.
Okay. But there's pictures in the brewery of boats going down,
Well,
pushing
you
down
have St. Joe River there.
cases of beer and stuff.
You have
putting
St.
it
Joe
down.
River
okay,
there
so
that
they're
you
pushing it
certainly
down.
can
Okay.
do
I thought
water
it was-
transportation
there
with
you
it,
go.
and it might
Yeah.
they probably would have connected to the canal, or maybe that was part of the canal. I don't.
Okay, so
I don't know.
the house was built in 1913, and you were born 4 years after that, and then you visited. This is your great.
Wait,
Tell us
This
about
is
the
your
friends.
grandfa- this is
I'd
your
like to hear
grandparents.
more about the friends that are across Dahlgren. Okay.
I cannot tell you their names. I have no idea, no memory. But there were two women. I think one of them was a divorcee or something. You know, kind of an old lady that just didn't get along with people. But they were friends with my grandpa and grandma, and they would come over and visit and bring things for them. And I don't think they ever went anywhere together. They may have, but I just don't remember they did. And my grandfather could drive. He had a big old Lincoln, not a Lincoln, some kind of a big car. And he would drive Grandma to a church, one of those church services where they had everybody coming in from somewhere, you know, get acquainted. I can't.
And
Huh? Anyway, Grandpa would take her to church, and of course he had to stay with her. And they went maybe to go to the south side of Fort Wayne sometimes to church. They had some kind of big old church out in there. And these people would come and visit there at the house almost every day sometimes. Since they lived close, and I don't think those women worked. I don't know what they did. They were just over there by themselves, those two women. They knew nothing at all about this one south of.
And then how many, who originally lived in that? It was your grandfather?
My grandmother lived there by herself most of the time, but she was, he was her husband. He could come anytime he wanted to.
Yeah.
There was my.
Because I heard about her. I heard that she didn't want to move out. She liked the house.
Yeah. Now, if you look around the corner there, you see her and me on that picture.
So she could visit whenever she wanted, huh?
So Clara lived in Dunwood more or less by herself?
Yeah.
And where was William then?
But later on, well, he was out on the farm with that.
Oh, he was on the farm, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they moved in when I was a kid, some reason or other, and he had a place down there on Superior Street on the river. It's on the St. Mary's coming through there. He had this house, and my grandma was kind of jealous. She thought he was carrying on with this woman in that house, that rental house.
He was a busy man then.
But look around the corner there and see that picture.
Oh, okay.
That's my grandma
Oh,
Clara
wow.
and me.
Great.
I'm gonna come look at it
Yeah,
too.
I'll get a picture of
Yeah.
it too. Yeah, that's neat. So then, who's the handicap? Somebody said something about somebody handicapped that had to pull
Clara.
themselves up and
Clara.
down the steps.
Clara.
Clara had to pull herself. She had little handrails. She could pull herself up the stairway, and into her bedroom. She downstairs she had a wheelchair.
So she had
And
problems with her
Grandpa-
legs.
Grandpa would knock, like on Sunday night we would go over there to eat. He would fix a piece of ground steak, and they had an old stove with you take the lids off the burners, it was one where you had live coals in it, and he would fix steak, and we would eat in the dining room. And I always thought that was so big and beautiful.
Yeah, it's grand indeed. So I lived there from the 50s. My parents lived there.
You're-
So I've always been curious all these years about the history of it.
And Dad come along and put that bathroom in after
The
I had
small one
left.
in the basement, the small one
No, the one
downstairs.
outside the dining room.
Hmm.
I thought he was really.
Yeah, that's all concrete.
He really messing things up. I thought when he put that in, but
We put the downstairs bathroom in?
yeah.
Yeah, it was solid
And
concrete
that was
walls.
because,
Right.
he
It
couldn't get
was-
upstairs, right? He or her?
She couldn't.
It was my great grandpa was there in that bed in that
Oh,
dining
your
room.
great grandfather was there.
Had a bedroom in there, and he lived there for a little while. And I can remember Grandpa ended up in there with heart trouble.
So the great grandpa Dunn, do you remember his name?
C.W.
That's Charlie.
That was Charles?
Yeah,
Charles William.
Oh,
Charles Williams. They just kind of knew his names just go back and forth,
Charles William.
There was Charles
Yeah.
William, and then his father was William Baldwin, and then his father was Charles Williamson, and his father was William.
That explains a mystery to me. I'm at the genealogy department at the Fort Wayne Library the other night,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at Fort Wayne, Allen County city directories,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't remember which year it is. It might be the 29, it might probably the 1913 one or 1919. I took made a copy of the page, and it showed a Charles Dunn resides at the 521 Dunwood. A line farther down, you have Ralph C. Dunn, has a house, 417 Green Lawn. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, Ralph C. Dunn, that was his dad at
And
Dunwood.
he never
you know.
used that C. I mean the name Charles. He was always Ralph C. He would not have Charles. I don't know why, but he was Ralph C.
Yeah. So Charles came from his grandfather,
Or his great-great-grandfather.
or his great.
Yeah. So they just kind of. Oh, I don't know where that Bible is now.
It's in the
About torn up, I think. Everything has gone bad because of
there's a copy
sex.
of it.
You know, papers don't live.
Right. Right.
There's-
Good. I'm glad you had this night. I was worried when I was talking to you.
Mhm.
I was worried that you had lost all your research.
Oh gosh, no.
I couldn't imagine that you
No,
did.
I've got so
I couldn't
much.
imagine you did.
I've got
but
this many books just for one part of the family. So
Yeah,
it's
if you
not-
check-
Well, that's
If you
that's
hand
why
that
you
over
were
to
so.
the copy place.
That's
Right,
why
they
when
can-
I was talking to you, I was getting the sense
They'll
of
just run all that off for you. at
she
copy
either doesn't
center.
have it or doesn't want to go through it. Doesn't want to have to go find it. You know, it's
I
the
was
way
looking
the
at it, I was like, where?
I don't know if you've moved a bunch of times, and maybe you lost something moving,
No, it was
or
right by
I
me.
mean, yeah, I couldn't
that's-
imagine you lost
That's
it.
the
This
that's
is
the
the
Bible.
This is the Hatch and Dunn Bible
Okay.
because. But
Show me
this,
how many. Show me the Charles and all that going back to as far as we know. Who do we first know?
Well,
I see Charles there, 1751.
that was probably Charles Hatch. But
And who's a Hatch? It'd be something on the Dunn family side, right?
all right, you want to go back to the first Dunn that we know about?
Not really.
That was Thomas Dunn.
I mean, I want to know about it,
Yeah.
just my personal
There was
history,
Thomas
but not
Dunn.
for this. Not for what.
Okay, there's
she-
Thomas-
Oh, you're okay. I can
Take 5 minutes.
record it.
There's Thomas Dunn in Pennsylvania, and then he had a son named William, who was a grandstand guy. I mean, he was the first person to be married in Horsehead, New York, and he was the first in the lodge, and he was this and that. And they had a horse.
The first in
racehorse.
Horsehead, New York would be a significant event, huh?
Yeah, but
That's up by Elmira. I know where it is. I've never been
Yeah.
there.
so he lived there for a while.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, that he was real colorful. And then his son was Charles Williamson Dunn, and then his son was William Baldwin Dunn, and then his son was Charles William Dunn, and then William Helam Dunn, and then Ralph Dunn.
Okay.
Ralph.
They
Charles.
broke the mold.
So I have
Wow.
7 generations to get to my grandpa.
Yeah. So, Charles Baldwin was named that because his mother maiden name was Baldwin. William Helam Dunn was named for his uncle who was killed in the Civil War.
Uncle Helam was buried in what's the name?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's in the National Cemetery. And where do I have a picture of that?
Yes, somewhere.
But that's one of our relatives.
I'm sorry. Where the cemetery? Where again?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga,
Chattanooga,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
He was
And,
Yeah, I heard that. I just
wounded
couldn't-
in the
he was trying to go up the hill.
mission.
No, he was wounded during the Civil War. Then.
Yeah, he was killed there
Okay.
in that area. So he's buried there in Chattanooga.
And who was that again?
Helam.
Helam Dunn.
Charles.
No, Helam Dunn
Can you spell
was
that?
Charles' brother.
How do you spell Helam?
Helim.
H-E-L-I-M. Helam. Does he have a middle name?
Don't remember.
No, Helam Dunn's fine. No,
She's looking.
Helam Dunn died.
But my husband, Charlie,
Helam Hatch.
Jesse was good about taking me to see
What was the
things.
name?
Helam Hatch.
Helam Hatch.
Mary, that Hatch was his mother's maiden name.
So we told the cemetery to look out there twice at least.